Welcome to everybody. My name is Balázs Bohár. I'm a PhD student in the Eötvös Loránd University from Budapest, Hungary. My poster presentation will be about Sherlock, an open source data platform to store, analyze, and integrate bioinformatics data. The first question is, what is Sherlock actually? So it is an open source data platform which was developed in the Kocsmáros group to store, analyze, and integrate bioinformatics data. The funny thing that it got its name from the dog of one of the group members. Besides that, it has a lot of features. For example, Sherlock can store all datasets in a redundant organized storage. With Sherlock, you can convert all datasets to a common query-compatible file format. What's more, you can execute analytical queries on top of data files. Sherlock can also share datasets among different teams or projects. Furthermore, it can generate operational datasets for certain services or collaborators. The Sherlock platform delivers a simple interface to leverage big data technologies. But what actually big data technology means? So the general definition is that big data is a field that treats ways to analyze, systematically extract information from, or otherwise deal with datasets that are too large or complex to be dealt with by traditional data processing softwares. But actually big data is not only about large datasets, but it can also be about any dataset which is changing rapidly or need to be transformed or need to be cleaned, for example. In research, it is not widely adopted, but has large amount of tricky data, and with Sherlock we are trying to aim to address this. On the right top of the slide, you can see some big data technologies which are used worldwide. We are using the data lake to the greatest extent. But what the data lake is, where and how do we store data in a big data application? So, in a general way, data lake is a system or a repository for data stored in its natural raw format, usually object blobs or files. It has shared storage for large amount of files. What's more, it has really specific and unique rules and conventions to organize these files. Furthermore, it uses standardized big data file formats, for example JSON or ORC, which is the optimized raw columnar. And the main point is that a lot of tools can use it worldwide. But how can we edit, manipulate, or query this type of files? We can use the traditional way, which is the power of the SQL. So SQL, or Structured Query Language, is an incredibly successful programming language standardized in 1986, and practically all data scientists and software engineers knows about it and can use it as well. The data is stored in relational databases. Here you can see a really simple one, which has tables. And also it has columns and rows inside the tables, and you can connect to each other and make relations between the tables. This is how a simple relational databases look like regarding big data technologies like in Sherlock. Now, after we talked about the big data technologies and the data lake, let me show you how the Sherlock platforms look like. Actually, it has two main parts. The first is the Presto query engine, where you can run your own SQL queries on top of the data lake. In the next slides, I will show you one example. This Presto query engine is a high-performance distributed SQL query engine for big data technologies. Its architecture allows users to query a variety of data sources such as MySQL or MongoDB. It can even query data from multiple data sources within a single query. The other part of Sherlock is the data lake, which is actually the place where we store our data. In the case of Sherlock, it has 4 different zones. The bottom zone is the raw zone, which contains raw files of different external databases in their original format. The second is the landing zone, where the data is structured into the JSON Presto compatible file format. The third zone is the master zone, where the data is converted into the ORC format, which allowing really fast queries. And the fourth zone is the project zone with specific files for specific projects, for example. The Presto engine can communicate with the last 3 zones, as you can see on the slide. On the other hand, the user can import data into the raw zone and then convert this data into the upper zones via the Presto query engine with SQL queries. But there is an important note that Presto does not force to use this kind of structure. So this is only our structure, but it can be anything what the user wants. And now, after I showed you the structure of Sherlock, I would like to show you one really simple example how Sherlock can be used in biology. So here is the example. How can we use the SQL language to query information from Sherlock? So there is a question what we want to answer. How do you find those genes from the string database which are expressed only in the brain. Here is the clue. We have these three tables, one which contains the information from the string database. The second table is actually a mapping table which contains the different type of protein IDs from different sources, ensemble and uniport. And the third table includes the tissue information about the protein. The problem here is that the first table has only ensemble IDs, but if you see the tissue table, it has only uniport IDs. So somehow we have to connect them together. But that's why we need the mapping table between them. So how can we answer this question? The only thing what we have to do is to run a really simple SQL query, which is here. First, this query will connect the three tables together via the matching protein IDs, then select only those which expressed in the brain according to the matching IDs. And that the results will be the first two proteins from the string table. Otherwise, if the script does not find any match between the ensemble and uniport IDs, it skips them, like in the case of the third protein in the string table. So, in summary, Sherlock provides an open source platform empowering data management, data analytics, and collaboration through modern big data technologies. The biggest advantage for Sherlock is that it is really fast and quick. You can do a lot of queries at the same time in a really fast way. It's really easy to handle with, and furthermore, it is open source and freely available on GitHub on this link. So thank you for your attention.